Hi everybody, it is yet another Wednesday night, and we're here for Beers with Ben.
Here we are.
A change of location.
Again.
Yes, a mystery location. We'll call it the Brew Hall Bat Cave.
Yes.
I guess. This beautiful brick wall, but
very well lit for a bat cave.
I kept hearing about how the sound was difficult to hear, and ironically, I've heard those complaints. So we're in a different location. Hopefully that helps. Yeah, thanks. I'm very punny today. So, here with Beers with Ben, I'm refreshing my Facebook feed because I want to see your questions and comments roll up in the comments for this Facebook Live feed. So, don't hesitate to drop that in. I'm Sean, and this is Ben.
I'm Ben.
He's our brewer here at the Shakopee Brew Hall. And so we're here to talk about beer and beer-related things as they relate to the Brew Hall. And so I just want to get started with, clearly, if you're watching the news at all, you know that our governor has come out with new guidelines, and we can't be open inside to sit-down service. But I want to say this, and I'll say it a few times this evening, we are open for off-sale.
Yes.
And we've got a couple more nights of taproom service, Thursday and Friday night. Starting Saturday, we're going to adopt different hours, and we're going to be adopting the experience of doing off-sale, just like we did last spring. So I'm not going to delve into the super nitty-gritty details, but check our website and Facebook for updated hours per Saturday, basically in the middle of the day into the early evening, most of the days of the week, to come in and get your crowlers and growlers for off-sale. So one of the details that goes into doing off-sale here at the Brew Hall is that we encourage you to do your orders online. You can use our website for that. The idea being is that you fill out the form and we fulfill your order. We'll email you when it's ready. You come on in, pay for it, and you've got beer to go. That's how it works.
That's right.
Awesome. So this shutdown, it really isn't a shutdown for us. It's just we're open in a different way.
Yes.
And it came pretty quick, but we've got some beers we need to talk about.
Yeah.
I think it makes sense for us just to delve into what we have on our hand right here.
This pretty beer.
Yep.
Here.
It's being served in a year beer glass, the little 10-ounce glass that we use occasionally around the Brew Hall. And this is a Kriek, spelled K-R-I-E-K.
Yep.
And tell us what this is.
So this is very much a one-off beer. This is a style of Belgian sour, kind of fits into the lambic style of brewing. A style that most breweries cannot do. And the reason mainly being because when you make traditionally soured or funky beers, which taste great, but when you traditionally make them, you have to use things like bacteria and wild yeast to typically do the fermenting for you to get that really interesting character. And because you're using things like bacteria, the possibility of infection in the brewery is less than, or not less than zero for certainly. So with the possibility of getting infection in the brewery and chasing that down or not even ever getting rid of it and it affecting future beers, we typically try to avoid doing that style of stuff. But what we're lucky to be able to do here is we've invested in quite a few infusion kegs. It's kind of the source of all the different infusions that we're able to do weekly, and because we can isolate a lot of the bugs and everything right into that infusion keg and not have to go through the brewery itself or go through the traditional lines that we move beer around with. I can make small batches of things like a lambic in that isolated keg. The problem is, this is a year old.
It's taken its time to become what it's become.
We started making this beer in, I want to say late November of last year. Regular of ours, Tim McGinty. How's it going, Tim, if you're out there?
He's watching, I know he is.
Was gracious enough to donate us a cherry crop from himself and his brother. And, it was enough for me to actually make a a beer out of it. And so for the last 10, 11 months, I've been tripping over the keg as it's been kind of just hanging out in the corner of the brewery, and it's finally ready to serve. So there's a little bit left. We released it about a week ago.
Yep.
And there's about a third of a keg left, and so it's an interesting time to.
It's a unique flavor for
it
sure.
Is.
And so we've been serving it on the tap line only, and people have come in and asked us, hey, can I get this to go? And our answer's been no, because we didn't put anything in cans. But because of the most recent news about only having takeout orders only, we did put together a few crowlers of this today. So you have a couple days to grab it in-house. Otherwise, it's gone when it's gone.
It's gone when it's gone. And I certainly want to be making things like this in the future. It's going to have to be small batches again. We just can't risk the possibility of infection in the brewery. But with the length of time that it takes to make something like this properly, you don't expect to see these very often. And so, while I'd love to make them, and I might lovingly curse them as I trip over them in the morning sometimes. It's just not something that can come out consistently due to the amount of time it takes to make. So come and grab it while you can, and I'll keep trying to make some more for the future. But
it's definitely a treat and something we don't get down here at the brew hall very often. So take advantage of its availability and come get some.
I'll look off to the side here and say maybe we need to get a folder to the man with the paycheck. No, with the checkbook as he looks behind him.
So just a reminder, you're watching Beers with Ben. If you have any questions or comments, drop it into the comments. I'm monitoring it up here. One thing we can talk about a little bit, this being a unique style of beer because it relies on wild yeasts and bacteria.
Yes.
In reality, if you go far enough back in time, that's how all beer was made.
It is, yeah. Back before you could culture yeast, back before you could brink it and isolate it into like yeast banks where you could actually freeze it and bring it out again and make slants out of it and repropagate. And all beer was made with either saving yeast for a certain amount of time, or usually just letting the natural yeast in the air inoculate the beer. And creek beers, I've obviously only read this, but I speculate that this is a style of beer that while you can find them in stores, and they do still make them over in Belgium pretty consistently, there is speculation that the type of creek beer that we drink today is probably not as good as what they were able to drink 200 years ago.
Because yeast has changed.
Yeast has changed, and the source of the yeast has changed because, this style of beer and a lot of lambics, but especially creek and the cherries, were synonymous with fields around Brussels. Well, Brussels has expanded just like...
There are no fields around Brussels.
There are no fields, and you could probably speak to that. There are no cherry orchards around Brussels anymore, and so those cherries that the yeast would live on and then would inoculate the beer later on just aren't there anymore. And so it's very possible, since we are not, we probably didn't isolate that particular yeast before it went extinct because it just didn't have a place to grow, that we're drinking a different type of beer than what they would have been probably about 200 years ago. So it's, but...
and that's fairly recent history. Even before that, people didn't realize yeast was even a thing.
Right.
And magically fermented and like, oh, this is what happens when you do this.
I mean, think about it this way. Like, you go back thousands of years, tens of thousands of years, and I mean, how do you even come up with the idea of a fermented beverage? You probably had grain on the ground that got wet, and someone picked it up and put it in their mouth for because they were hungry, and it was sweeter than the grain they had the day before it got wet, and maybe there's a cistern of water and there's some grain that fell into that and yeast fell on top of that, and all of a sudden you have something that starts to ferment accidentally. It probably tasted awful, but there's all these historical stories about how it probably is things like alcohol, like beer, like wine that allowed us to survive as long as we have, back when water wasn't safe to drink. Fermenting stuff with the water made the water safe to drink. Made it alcoholic,
right.
but it allowed us to actually imbibe things. And so these traditions built from there, and this particular one, this creek, or lambics in general, are just one of those styles of beer that have just been kind of naturally developing, and we just were able to harness it at the right time. So
a similar process happens in baking when people start a sourdough mother in their own kitchen.
Yeah,
you combine flour and water and put it in a little crock and leave it open to the air and let nature take its course, and that's kind of the idea here.
Yeah.
This style. Awesome.
Yep.
Well, come and get your creek, one and only.
Yes.
Right now at the brew hall, for sure, a special treat. We have other options available as well. We have a variety of things holding beer in front of us, don't we?
Yes, and they're farther away than normal.
Yes. Underneath Ryan's beanie, we have a 4-pack of 16-ounce cans over there as well.
I haven't worn that one.
It's for sale. Ryan has not worn it. And some crawlers. Crawlers and this bomber, which I'll talk about in a moment. These crawlers are for sure available in the brew hall for off sale. And again, just to restate the point, we are open to off sale beer purchases starting Saturday. And so help support this local business by coming to get your off sale in crawler form or growlers here at the brew hall. The 16-ounce cans are carried in liquor stores all over the metro. Here's my challenge to you folks. During this time, you want to support your local tap room, brewery. Go to your local liquor store and say, hey, I want you to carry Shakopee Brew Hall beer. What can you do for me? If they don't, they'll get in touch with us and let us know, because we can get in touch with them. Help us establish a bigger footprint in the metro and beyond. Let's get our beer out there in the store shelves and out into your living rooms.
Yes.
Because for the next 4 weeks, that's the only place you can go.
If not longer. Yeah.
If not longer. I do want to push this barrel-aged Belgian Quad. We still have bombers of this, hand and lovingly bottled by myself, cork top, and kind of a neat holiday gift, if you ask me.
Yes.
Wink, wink. Pick this up. This is our mandala from a year and some ago.
Yes.
A Belgian Quad, 30 seconds. What's a Belgian Quad?
Belgian Quad is one of the Trappist styles of beer, or at least it's associated with Trappist brewing, Abbey brewing over in Belgium. Quad is more of a reference on alcohol as opposed to color or anything like that. So typically a quad is going to be a darker beer. It has kind of more of the dark fruit, date, raisin characteristic. The darkness is not an indication of dark flavors like coffee or chocolate like you might associate with darker beer.
It's essentially a thicker beer.
It's a thicker beer too. So I mean, this particular one, we're over 10%. We're around 10%. What are we at? Yeah, 11.2.
11.2. And this has been barrel aged.
And this has been barrel aged, and so this is sat for a year in a barrel, picked up all the characteristics of that barrel, and so not only is it thick, it's also a little tannic from that wood, and yeah. So.
Awesome. So we have a lot of off sale options, and check out our liquor stores. We want to thank all our liquor store partners out there. If you're wondering where you can now get Shakopee Brew Hall beer, go to our website, shakopeebrewhall.com. And there's a Find Beer button.
Yes.
And it lists all the places where we are. Handy dandy Google Maps. In case you don't want to get lost on your way to your favorite liquor store, you can get there. We can help.
And we actually update it too.
Yeah, it's actually up to date.
I can't say every brewery does that, but we do.
So take advantage of that handy option on our website. Let's talk a little bit. I want to sneak in something real quick. We've got tomorrow and Friday to sell beer over the counter.
Yes.
And I know that I purposely filled up a keg of Magic Feather and put it on nitro because I know people love that beer. And now we won't be able to sell it. So I'm gonna issue a challenge. Help me empty that keg. If you're a regular down here at the brew hall and you know you like Magic Feather, this is a special treat to me. So we can't put that in cans. We can't sell it off sale. So help me empty that keg in 2 days.
Yes.
It can be done.
It can be done.
I think it can be done. So it might be a little bit of a challenge, but I think it can be done. Help me sell that.
I believe in you.
All right. Coming up, we have either tomorrow or Friday a new Duck Duck.
Yes.
Tell us about it.
So, you know, those who have had the Duck Duck before, it is our fruited goza, and we like to have a lot of fun with the different fruits that we like to put in there. Typically, we do kind of a 2-fruit blend, just to kind of play off of each other. This particular time, we're going to be doing a blueberry and tart cherry. You know, the first thing that you're gonna say when you see this beer is, "What a pretty color it is."
It is. I've seen it.
It's still carby, so we actually have a little bit of prep still to do on it, or else I'd bring up a glass of it. But lilac purple, I think, is an accurate enough color for it.
Unique for sure.
Yes, it's a lot of fun. But sour. You know, this thing ended up at about 3.2 pH, so quite a bit of sour in there.
Awesome.
A little bit of sweetness from that blueberry that we ferment out in it, but definitely a really interesting color, and it's going to be a good sour beer for those at any kind of gathering that you can have that aren't necessarily beer drinkers but want to try something kind of wine-like. This is a good option for it, and it looks like a wine.
I'm going to draw a couple points together. This beer uses wild yeasts to make it taste a little different.
Yes.
The goza uses bacteria
does.
to make it taste a little different. We do a little souring process in the brewing process.
Yep, but the difference here is when that bacteria comes in contact with the beer. So with this creek, with you know, lambics and most sours, traditional sours, you know, the bugs come after the ferment. So you basically allow the yeast to ferment out the beer, and then things like bacteria will take over from there. One of the reasons being that you know, ale and lager yeast is very voracious, that it likes to eat that sugar that's available, and it kind of blocks out all the other bugs that are in there. But when it slows down, it slowed us down pretty early for some microorganisms. When it slows down and starts to go to sleep, there's still sugar left. And so things like bacteria can take over from there, where they wouldn't have been able to compete with you know, the beer yeast beforehand. Now they're not competing with anything because the beer yeast has been gone dormant. So they get to take their time and create kind of their own characteristic. With the gozas that we do, not just us, you know, a lot of breweries that do these kettle sours and these quick sour beers. What we typically will do is we'll create the wort, so that sugar water that we get by mashing the grain and all of that. And before we boil it, before we add hops, before we cool it down and give it the yeast, we'll give it the bacteria first. And we'll let that bacteria eat the sugar for a couple days to sour it down. So it drops the pH from wherever it starts, usually in, you know, like the low 5s pH-wise, down to, you know, 3.5, 3.3. And then we boil it. And by boiling it, we kill it. And so before it ever gets into our fermenters, before it ever gets into our lines, we kill the bugs. And that way we can make these big batches even in a brewery that's producing IPAs and lagers and stuff like that, and not worry about infecting everything. It allows us to make those sour beers without worrying about bacterial infection everywhere.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So another Duck Duck blueberry tart cherry Duck Duck will be available in cans for sure, obviously, and for off sale. Again, you can place your off sale orders online. Walk-ups are fine too, especially if you're going to order a growler though. We ask that you pop in on our website, put that order in, and we'll let you know when it's ready. You come pick it up. Next week early, we're looking at another batch of holy mole. This time even spicier.
I just keep pushing the limit. I don't know. You know, I'm told by different factions of people they like the spice in the last one, keep it that way, but then I have other people, sometimes myself included, who wanted to have a little bit more of a kick. I didn't go crazy by any means, but there's a little bit more pepper, chili pepper used in this. We typically use puya peppers. I've used ancos in the past. I'm going to butcher the name, so I'm not even going to try it. Guajillo?
You're asking the wrong guy.
I can write it out, but I can't say it properly. You know, several pounds of peppers that we not only brew with, but we also let the beer age on for several weeks, just to extract the oils. There's cinnamon in it. There's chocolate and cacao nibs in it. So really kind of trying to get a lot of those traditional classic mole flavors.
It's a pretty complex beer. There's a lot going on.
It is.
Complex flavors.
Yes.
Brewed on a Bach base.
Brewed on a Bach base, traditional Bach, so kind of a brownish color to it. Malty, just to hold up with all those spices. You need that good background, that good backbone, I should say.
Yep, something to hold it all.
Yep.
Awesome. Our Saturday infusion release will be in Crowlers. We decided to take some Cinco de Chaco, that Mexican lager, and put some cranberry and ginger together.
Maybe a few extra flavors.
A few other extra flavors.
Just
giving it a teaser.
Yep.
There's always more than just two things in there. So look forward to that. If you enjoyed our release of Odie McOatface, it's coming back.
Yes.
Mid to late next week.
Yep.
That's just starting to finish out in the fermenter.
Yep, got its last hop edition today. That's a triple hopped beer, and so it's got its last hop. It needs to now kind of do its thing for the next week or so.
Awesome. We're going to carb that up, certainly put it in lots and lots of cans and have that available for you late next week. I'm just crossing things off my list here. I'm going to have Ben slide that over. We have some different gift options. Let me start with the obvious gift options. Beer.
Yes.
So for the discriminating beer drinker in your house, feel free to give some cans and or bombers out to your guests. I'm going to point at our little mug here, our 16-ounce ceramic mug, handmade by the way. That would be a fantastic gift option. Give that with a crowler or two, and you've got a great thing going. This gift box will be available soon. We have a growler and 2 pint glasses. We'll have those gift wrapped for you, courtesy of Damon. He's our resident gift box wrapper. I don't know if he wants me I don't know if he wants me to say that or not, but I just did. So, and gift wrapped by Damon.
This would be the 4th year, whether or not he wants to admit it.
I don't know that he has a choice in it anymore, but there it is. So, gosh, the holidays are coming up, and you know, if you're whether you enjoy being with your family or you're being forced to be with your immediate family on this holiday season, pick up some beer, because that would be a great addition to your Thanksgiving Day table.
You might enjoy it, you might need it.
You know what, actually, I think about it, come get this Creek. This would be great after Thanksgiving beer.
Yeah,
I think that'd be
absolutely
great after dinner beer. But pick some stuff up. You know, these Crowler cans make great stocking stuffers for later in the holidays here, and all that. We're looking forward to having a Black Friday beer out there. The deets are forthcoming.
Yeah.
But we'll put something together for you. And yeah, there's great options. Gift packs, gift cards, those can be ordered. We're happy to put those in the mail to you if you need to. If you're watching us from afar and you have folks in and around Shakopee who you know would enjoy having a gift card as a gift, let us know. Give us a call, send us an email, or fill out the online order form, and we can get that to you. We've been known to put them in an envelope and mail them as the gift, I believe. That's probably happened. You know, we want to extend a huge, huge thank you to all our annual and lifetime members. Thank you for your support through certainly last spring, and then it looks like we're going to hit it again here.
Yes.
That sort of business makes a big difference to us. Support local and stay safe through all this. I'm going to invite in Ryan at this point to say a few words about shopping local and supporting your business. I think we have to shift over to the left a little bit. I'm going to probably end up not in frame here.
I'm not sure when that can be seen or not be seen.
Keep coming. Keep coming. I think you can be seen.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Take it over.
All right. Well, thank you. Hey, everybody. I do want to say, even though you can't see one of the two, a sincere thanks to Sean and Ben. Beers with Ben has been really fun. I think we've gotten really good feedback. It's been really entertaining for me just kind of watching the dynamic and the back and forth between these two. So my thanks to everybody that participates in this live as well as after the fact, because it's always fun to hear back from people, whether it's face-to-face, through social media, whatever it might be. You know, we put a lot of energy, effort, and thought into beers to brew, infusions to make, perish a thought what to name the beers. Sensitive subject. But no, it's you know, everything that you guys do, we listen and we try to adapt and change as best we can. I kind of wanted to start out, and I apologize, I did have to have a little cheat sheet because there's some things I want to bring up, but I enjoy music, and I kind of want to start off my tee up with what a long, strange trip it's been. Back on St. Paddy's Day was something similar to what we're going through on Saturday this week. Bar restaurants, while they're perceived as closed, like Turtles, Bravas, you name it, O'Brien's, any local restaurant, breweries can still remain open in regards to off sale. So that's crowlers and growlers. So we are here to continue to support you. You know, on the flip side, we're asking you to support us and your local brewery. If you can't get to Shakopee, wherever you might be, there's a lot of small businesses that need your help, and you certainly helped us. And we want to continue innovating beer, making it fun so that you can go home and enjoy beer, share it with your immediate family for the time being, and just kind of see where things go. As I mentioned, on St. Paddy's Day is when we had to go off sale only. I was kind of trying to go down memory lane. I think it was about mid-June that the state let us be outside only. And that was a little bit of a shocker too, because of that outside only. If you've not been to the brew hall, we don't have a patio that is really conducive. I mean, we've got a great patio, but at the same time, it's just not the easiest one to work with. However, kudos and my sincere thank you to the city of Shakopee. The street was blocked in front of the tap room so that people could actually go outside. We had tables out there, and it was just such a great environment. Socially distanced tables, fresh air, and people that had just been stuck in their house, working from home, and it was just a lot of energy. Just people being able to finally get back out, enjoying beer with some friends, some family. We certainly learned to adapt with some things. So there's obviously regulations. We're still a little tight on 6 per table and X, Y, and Z, but we kind of worked through that. Well, then summer got just really fun and exciting as the weather got better, sun came out, and the fall came. This is kind of where we're at right now. Is the pandemic certainly never went away through any of that, but we're the spike is here, and there's a lot of concern for individual safety. And throughout this whole duration, ever since St. Paddy's Day, and when we could start to bring people into our tap room, we've always been very conscientious of social distance spacing. Teams with our masks on, wiping things down. And so in some respects, I think there was kind of some, we always strive to be very aware of cleanliness and doing everything we can. The whole COVID experience really reminded us of the necessity to ensure that we're doing going above and beyond. And so we're going to continue to do that. However, effective Saturday, we are going back to what we did on St. Paddy's Day. And what was that? We are going to continue to remain open. However, the definition of open is still coming on in, following us on social media, checking out the website, seeing what kind of beers Ben's turning around so that you can grab them to go. The online order form was really beneficial, we found, to a lot of folks that don't want to stand in line, don't want to just continue waiting, but you can go ahead. Once the beer is available, we'll put it up there, we'll reserve it, you can come on in, grab and go, just kind of make it nice and easy. As Sean mentioned before, we do ask that just purely based on the freshness of a growler, if you can let us know you want the growler, we'll fill that. Again, we try not to fill, we don't have backstock of growlers just because we don't want them, losing their carbonation. So we try to keep those as fresh and as ready for you as possible. So yeah, that's, I would say just, thanks so much. continue to support local. That's my ask and my plea. Whether it's local Shakopee, Turtles, O'Brien's, Pablo's, and I can't say enough that in the Minnesota Craft Brewers Guild, we've got a lot of breweries in Minnesota. So come on out, whether you can't make it to Shakopee, go to whatever city you live in, look them up and support as best you can, because we certainly appreciate it and we're here with you. Stay safe and happy holidays.
All right. I'm going to sneak back into frame here and wrap it up. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been another fun episode of Beers with Ben. And again, this is happening live to us, but if you have anything that pops in your head, just put it in the comments and we'll do our best to answer that after the fact. When we're not live, I guess. We'll be live though.
I'm always live.
Yeah, we're always live. So again, online orders, shakopeebrewhall.com. Stop in and see us in the next 2 days. Otherwise, we look forward to seeing your pictures of our beer in your hands on social media. Put it out there. Share our beers with all your friends. See you soon. Thanks.
Come wave at me through the window of the brewery.
Yep. Thank you, everybody.